one, like Goggins said, no one wants to fight someone that's relentless.
I don't think I'm honestly that far.
And so it's not a fail. You're not failing. It's your first attempt.
So there's two. First one is my mentor, Rashad Phillips.
And it's your second attempt.
One of the guys, just one of the guys.
Now, do you think that's part of his success now?
And it's your third attempt.
But the floor is yours for the next, well, MVP minute.
No, I really wanted to just first of all say thank you, Frank. Like I said, we're approaching almost 1,000 segments here.
You're going to get it. It's just how many attempts is it going to take. And if you truly love what you're doing, it doesn't matter how many attempts.
I've come up with these Marvel comparisons a while back.
And so that relentless mentality, no matter what is in front of you,
I think he just changes the whole dynamic of a game.
you have to go around.
Everything you've set out to do, you're doing.
You have to go under it.
Man, I'm actually really good at this.
You can go over, you got to go through it. You're going to get to the other side. It doesn't matter. Like, failing is not an option. This year has been like, I had a visual map, so my mind races 100 miles per hour, like, and it's a blessing and a curse. And so I'm able to come up with content a lot, and I can visualize a plan, things that I need to get to a certain point. But then other times it can hurt me in other aspects, so learning how to channel that. And so I say that to say I had a plan going into this year, that things that I've been working on for some time, it lined up for the year of 2022. So I worked on a Fox Sports internship for over 3 years, but the pandemic happened, and the way Florida handled it and the way California handled it are completely different. But I knew my last semester of school, my last opportunity to get this Fox Sports internship, I finished school with this internship should line me up in a position to have a really good job. And then my podcast grew simultaneously with the internship. And so I knew this year was going to be the year that I was going to be able to, the years of hard work, it doesn't mean it comes to an end, but now it's going to be recognized on a national scale. And so all the networking that I do, all the different events that I may go to that may not make sense in the moment, it added up to this. And now I'm working with 92.9 The Game, the biggest radio station in Atlanta, starting next year. Obviously just had my Fox Sports internship. And then the Max Van Auken podcast is having guests that I didn't even dream I was going to be able to have at this point in time. So it's like everything that you pray for, everything that you work for, just lined up. And it doesn't mean it's going to always be a smooth road, but this was like the year of manifestation. And I know that kind of sounds cliche, but like you said, those hard-working moments that not everyone sees, like, now people see these results and it looks great, but it took a lot of like chess moves to get to the point that I'm at this year. And so now next year, we already got it mapped out. So, you know how it goes. And is I want to be the best to ever do it. I want to literally change the game and the way broadcasting is perceived. And I want to change the culture of it. And with certain ideas that I have in place, certain business plans that I haven't even shared with the world yet. I gave them a glimpse with my question with LeBron recently about the shoe question. That's never been asked in that format. So I haven't had the platform to share my plans. So it's an intricate process. The first process is I need to, and I don't mind sharing this with people because it's not like I'm hiding a secret. If you want to go do it, go do it. You got to put in the work. I know I'm going to put in the work. And so I need that platform. So I need to make it on the biggest scale nationally through the industries that are already established. And then using my knowledge and my love for sports to get me there. But simultaneously, I have my independent brand, which is a podcast. And so while all that comes up together, eventually you put yourself where you have all the leverage, and your brand allows you to have the freedom to dibble and dab in different opportunities that you have as an individual. And I want to be the Michael Jordan of broadcasting, the LeBron of broadcasting, the Messi of broadcasting, the Tiger Woods of broadcasting. I want it to be unanimously. Like, he's the guy that changed it. And I respect everyone that came before it and everyone that's now, but this, if you're not striving to be the best at something, what are you doing it for? And so that's why the expectations I put on myself, I'm not even close at all. So even though I'm very thankful for what I've been able to do, meeting and working with my idol this year, Colin Cowherd, interviewing my favorite athlete of all time, LeBron James, it's amazing and I'm so thankful for it, but it's like you get a taste of what you can become, and it's like, yeah, I'm not close. So, not at all. 16 and 2022. 2022, I started the year interviewing LeBron, and I ended the end of the year interviewing LeBron. and then the Fox Sports internship being 3 months on the other side of the country, which I've never really experienced the West Coast for that long of a duration. So there was like moments where it was very long, and then there was moments where everything was happening so fast. And so like when I sit down with you now, and I never honestly have done this, and so being able to just kind of sit and reflect on things that have happened, because I'm always just go, like what's in forward. If I were to lay out everything that happened in 2022, I'd say, man, that was an eventful, like that was a very big year with so much happening. That was a long year. Like to the internships, to the Magic games, to the radios, to the podcast, to the working, to finishing school, to relationships, to family, to moving, it was a lot. So I think it was a very long year, but because of like how much fun I was having being a part of the journey, it went by super fast. Number one, it's gonna sound crazy. I haven't even like, it's a private story, but it's nothing that I can't share. Colin Cowherd was my idol. And I say was because like he still is, but it's just looking back on the year. I listen to this man every single day, like The Herd, hour 1, hour 2, hour 3. Learn how he does things. Learn how he does his segments, his opening rants, his pauses, to his analogies, to being relatable, to his highs, to his lows. I've studied him, and so to be there, and I've met him before 4 years ago. And there was a moment I'm like, man, Colin, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Max Van Auken. I'm an intern on The Herd. And he said, here, walk with me. He just got done filming a commercial. And I'm walking with my idol to his car. And he's asking about my journey. He's asking about where I came from. And coincidentally, it sounds very weird, I know his story because I listened to him. I have the answers to the test. I know what he's already done. I already know what he looks for. And so I know the first thing he did was cover the Orlando Magic. That's the first thing I did. And like, I know he did play-by-play, like he covered boxing, one of his first gigs in Vegas. I covered, not Vegas, boxing. I did play-by-play. Like, we have weird similarities. And so immediately, like, we hit it off. And I'm like, bro, I am walking with my idol right now to his car. And he's saying he's beyond impressed with me right now. And I was like, I remember like I was low-key shaking. Like I remember took the bus home to my Airbnb, and I was like, this is the day. Like this is the day right here. I just met my idol and like got to learn and study him in person. Like face to face. So that was by far like a surreal moment. The second person that I would ever want to meet and learn from is LeBron. January 21st, interviewed LeBron James. And I got to give him his flowers. And when he gave me such a in-depth response, I was like, I just interviewed LeBron James. And this is kind of before, I've done big interviews, but LeBron's LeBron. And like for me, I grew up watching LeBron. Middle school was LeBron James. And people like this generation, he's the Jordan of this generation.
With 5 fouls, LeBron, throw it down, King.
So it's like, bro, he is the most popular athlete in America. And I'm interviewing him, like a kid from Daytona Beach, not to sound cliche, and all the way going to a state college. People laughed I had a podcast, and there's a whole arena full of people, and then you condense it to a whole room, just small room of people who can actually talk to him. Condense it even further, here's the select few people who can interview him. And somehow I was able to get into that select few, and he liked my question. And so I was like, whoa, I'm lucky I had a mask. I was cheesing. I was like, oh my gosh.
Ron, you've been incredibly successful in so many different situations, so many different personalities. Are you able to tell based off someone's personality how they're going to play the game of basketball? And you're a perfect example of this because you elevate everyone off the court. That's exactly how you play on the court.
I mean, everyone is different, so it's not about even the personality. It's about how much you put into the game, how much work ethic you're going to put into it every single day, day in and day out. I've never cheated the process on wanting to be great in this game. I knew I had a God-given ability, but that only takes you so far if you don't use that ability and start putting in work every single day and owning your craft and seeing ways, okay, you got better at this, now how can you get better at things that you're not so good at? And when you get comfortable, how can you get to a point where you're uncomfortable with trying to improve? So I've never been comfortable with anything in my game throughout my career. Just put me in a position to just try.
I had a mask on and everything. I was so happy. The third standout was what just happened. interviewing him again, but a question I waited on for 3 years. And to talk to him about his product and his shoes, and to bring out, to just tear down the barriers of what media is supposed to be, and just be a genuine person to a genuine athlete. And so I just say,
We're actually Nike employees as well as media members. We love your shoe. We saw your Christmas edition yesterday. Oh man, we gotta get a pair. So from the Zoom generations from 2003 to now, what is that like? To just see the input you have, how it's tailor-made for your game?
Well, I mean, this is the first year where we made it tailor-made for the next gen. You know, my boys had a lot of implemented in the 20, LeBron and Bryce, and Bronny and Bryce, I'm sorry. You know, I asked them what would it take to get them in their dad's shoe. And it's about 18 months ago, because it takes that long for production to come to fruition, what you see now today. And, you know, these kids, they want lightweight, they want lower profile shoes, they want great colors, and they want something they can also wear off the floor as well. So, you know, I'll listen to them. They were in 2 different meetings with me, and I just let them kind of take the floor on a lot of things in my design. Obviously, Jason Petrie is super dope, you know, and you know, our great team there at Nike. But to know, I started almost 20 years ago, you know, with the Zoom Generation 1, and now at the you know, at the 20. It's been a great ride, and it's even more humbling and more of a pleasure to know that my boys have something to do with it now. You know, they're old enough to be able to implement their thoughts and what they would like to see on me and on the rest of the great athletes that, you know, all over the world, you know, at every class, from pros all the way down to kids playing intramural. So it's a beautiful thing, and I love being a part of the swoosh life, that's for sure.
Full circle moment for sure.
Absolutely, appreciate you.
Thank you.
2003 is your first shoe. We're now going into 2023. That's 20 years of product that you've never been able to talk about. Like, let me hear it. And you could just tell he enjoyed it. And then lastly, I've worked on this Atlanta job for a very long time. There's events that I went to meet certain people, just to shake their hand. Even if it's a 5-second thing, I shook their hand, they remember that. And these relationships, these little interactions, these, hey, I'm gonna go stay at my mom's house for a couple days just so I can drive to this town, because it's closer, to go to this event, to shake this guy's hand one time. That one handshake, this one thing, because this person knows this person, now have an opportunity in the city that I've always wanted to live in. And so those moments to me, it just showed me that what you believe in, what you pray for, what you work for, can all happen if you just completely believe in yourself and do it. And it sounds very cliche, but it's worked for me so far. Oh man, I mean, I don't even open up to people. People don't even know this about me. I don't talk to my family about it. I don't talk about anything. I mean, my brother Rob and like Kathy and stuff I told, but his family taught me it. His dad, Rob's dad, was like, man, you believe in God? I was like, yeah, absolutely. He's like, but do you pray? I'm like, to be honest with you, no, I'm not gonna lie, I really don't, sir. And he was like, give it a try. He's like, just be open, be vulnerable, pray big, be in the shower, you could be driving, you could be before you go to bed, when you wake up. So okay, I'll give it a try. It was during the pandemic, and I was delivering pizzas. And so there was just so much downtime. And so I'm just driving in the car, everyone's inside, there's no one to talk to. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give this a shot. And so I was like, all right, come on, God, I'm gonna talk to you for a second. And I've never done this really before, I'm gonna do it. And it's not about things happening in order for it to show that it's real. Everyone has a different relationship and what works for them. But everything that I've prayed for and everything that I made myself open to seeing and just having faith and just kind of understanding that it's not just about you. Like, there's a whole big thing going on. And so you can't be so narrow-minded and think that you got all the answers figured out. Take a step back, humble yourself, put in the work, persevere. Things are going to be hard. Things may not make sense. There may be a no right now. You're like, why is it a no? I'm ready right now. Because there's a bigger yes four no's from now. And every single thing has fallen into place. And I would be so foolish to not see that. And it was all just because you just got to open yourself up. And I made myself vulnerable. First, I say thank you every morning. I say thank you every night before I go to bed. The first thing I do. And there's so many things that we take for granted on an everyday that you don't even realize. Like, we're sitting inside right now talking about life. There's people who all don't have an inside. And so, like, just moments like that, because there may be big dreams that you want, but there's so many things that you have now that are people's dreams. And so I just took that and I didn't take it for granted, and I said thank you. And and I just pray for what I'm trying to achieve. That's ultimately to bless everyone. And so that's through what I want to do. And so if I get to the point where I want, I'm doing what I love, it'll allow me to bless other people. And I try to incorporate that even in what the resources I have now to elevate others. And I may not have millions of dollars, but I have access, like I have resources. And so I can start helping people now. And that's what I started doing. And ever since I started really looking at it that retrospect, it opened up everything.
What was the internship first one?
Fox Sports is the most premier internship you can get in broadcasting.